Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Josh Ortega, j.ortega.design, and today I'm answering the question, what is design sketching? Now, design sketching to me is the art of taking a drawing or a sketch from a simple line drawing and embedding it with either line weight or function, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So off here to the left, we have a line drawing of a cube. A line drawing is simply an illustration, a representation of an object, right? It doesn't evoke any emotion, and it doesn't really give you much information other than the fact that that is simply a drawing of a cube. So the first tool that we can use to take a line drawing to a design sketch is what we call line weight. You might say, well, what is line weight? Well, line weight is the weight of the line, and what I mean by that is the thickness or the darkness of the line, okay? So up here, up top, we have a very light line weight, and as you move down, you get into heavier line weights, darker line weights, okay? I mean, you can almost think of this as from like a 1 to 10 scale, right? And a good design sketch will use most of the range, right? This simple line drawing uses one consistent line weight, and it doesn't really evoke any emotion. So line weight is really key to getting emotion into your sketch, okay? The second thing that we need to create a good design sketch is some type of function, and it's not necessary to have both of these every time. Line weight is a key. You really need to have that number one, that line weight down, basically every time if you want to have a good design sketch. Function is almost an added bonus. You can have it there if you want it. You should have it there at least some of the time, but not necessary for every single sketch to have some sort of function embedded, and that function really relays some type of information, okay? So I'll show you. So if we take this simple cube and say, okay, now we want to do a design sketch of a cube, and for the first step, we're just going to focus on the line weight, the emotional part of it. How would we actually add that in, okay? So you'll start almost with that line drawing, right? You really just kind of want to outline it, say, okay, where's my cube going to fall on the page? You say, okay, it's here. Now, how do you use line weight? So the way that I use it is I think of a light source. So if I say, okay, if this cube is sitting outside right now, the sun is somewhere in the sky. So we'll say the sun is here on the upper left, and it's casting light down upon the object, right? It doesn't have to be a cube, it could be a car, it could be any type of product, right? So any of these lines that this sun or this light source are going to interact with almost immediately, these are going to be your light line weights, okay? These are going to fall in this kind of 1 to 2, maybe 3 range. On the opposite end, anything that's furthest away from that light source, right? This line down here, this line in the back, right? These are gonna get your heavier line weights. You can almost think of these lines as being in shadow, right? And then this line, this corner would also kind of be in shadow, but it would fade as it moves up. So if you think about it that way, and you add in some of these line weights, you'll see what I mean in a moment. Now these lines in the center here, this one, they're almost your medium line weights. These are very light. And then as you move to the back, your line weights get heavier. So this helps to add emotion. It also grounds the sketch. It gives you a sense of where that light is coming from. And you can almost see in your mind, even if you remove the light source, okay, I get it. You know, it's brighter here, it's darker in this bottom corner. Okay? So that's a pretty simple line weight exploration. Now, if you were to add some type of function to the drawing, well, what does that mean? Well, you're really trying to relay some type of information. So if you took the cube example again, right, we'll draw another cube, and we said, okay, now we want to give this some type of function. Well, what type of function could we give it? Well, maybe it's not just a cube, maybe it's a box that actually opens, right? So maybe you need a cut line here, and you say, well, actually, this is going to hinge on this point. Maybe it opens, okay? And this would actually come all the way back here. So that looks a little confusing, but don't worry, we have line weight to help us out. So again, if we think of the sun or the light source being in this upper left corner, anything opposite that is going to get really dark. So using that same example from up above, this lower corner is going to get dark. Okay, it's going to get that heavy line weight, maybe a medium line weight, and then as it rolls from the dark, it's going to kind of fade away into a lighter line weight. That line would now be in shadow because you have this top of the box hinged open, so it's sitting above that line. That line would be pretty light because of the light. And line weight is a great way to clean up a sketch too. So my sketch, if you noticed, was a little messy in the beginning, just trying to figure out, okay, where would it actually be if it were open? When you come in with these darker lines, it takes it from looking messy, and you can actually clean up your sketch pretty effectively if you use it in the right way. So all of these lines are facing away from that bright light source, so they're all going to be pretty dark. This one especially, really dark. Okay, and you might even add a little section line in here, another part of that information relaying by adding those lines. Okay. Okay. So between these two things, the line weight and the function, you start to get into what a design sketch actually is. Okay? So now let's try this on something that's not just a simple cube. Let's try this on something like a car.